What's going on, boxing fans? Welcome to the distance. My name is Julian Williams. I was on the wrestling website like 3 minutes ago, and I look at the news, and on eWrestlingNews.com, it has an article up: Kimbo Slice leaving MMA for boxing. So let me read part of this article to you. Anyway, it's a short article, so I'll just read it. Kimbo Slice is apparently leaving MMA for boxing. Boxing promoter and former WZR radio guest Gary Shaw told ESPN New York that he has a boxing deal in place with Slice that would see him in his boxing debut by the end of the year. Kimbo is apparently working with California-based trainer Clemente Medina and is expected to debut sometime in October and December. Shaw thinks that a successful run could have Ferguson poised in title contention within 6 or so fights. So that's the article. And how ridiculous does that sound? And out of everybody, you would expect the Gary Shaw to say something along those lines because Gary Shaw is actually the one that brought him out. I think he's actually the one that signed him many years ago. I wouldn't say many years, about 3 years ago. He's the one that signed him and hyped him up so much. Like, I remember Kimbo from YouTube. I remember him from that. And somewhere like 2 years ago, he was all over everything. I remember him being like on ESPN and all these little video game commercials and stuff that nobody really cared about. Kind of lost his credibility going around being in little fairy games and stuff and laughing and stuff. That's just my opinion. But me personally, my only experience watching this guy fight was like a 15-second fight. That's the only experience I have watching this guy. Like, I was watching CBS and he was gonna fight some wrestler, I think, Ken Shamrock, and I think he was in UFC years ago. I don't know, but anyway, that's besides the point. He was supposed to fight this Ken Shamrock guy, and he ended up fighting some guy with pink hair and a tramp stamp, and the guy with the pink hair and tramp stamp knocked him out in like 15 seconds. And really, my experience with MMA is top fighters being beaten every time I freaking watch it, so I just don't watch it. That's just like the other guy, that Russian guy, losing in the first round to some other guy. I don't even know. Like I said, I don't even know the names of some of these guys, but my experience is watching this stuff is primarily is upsets. But anyway, that's just my only experience watching this guy. Oh yeah, I did watch some of that Ultimate Fire too and saw him get beat by some fat guy. Another moment, but anyway, I'm not gonna downplay mixed martial arts. It's a sport of its own. But Kimbo Slice going to boxing. I think it was a move. I think it's a move that should have been done years ago. I thought with how he fought being a street fighter, I thought he was better suited for boxing more so than mixed martial arts. Because in boxing, everything is technical, and you're not waiting for, like, you're not getting knocked down. You don't have to worry about holds. You're fighting with your hands, and I think that Kimbo Slice is better suited only fighting with his hands. And because with mixed martial arts, you gotta defend yourself from other things. Boxing, everything relies on your hands. It relies on your hands and skill. And Kimbo Slice, I thought, was better suited for boxing, more so than mixed martial arts. But now, being 37 years old, I honestly don't know. We have had a few Cinderella stories in the sport of boxing, but let's face it, Kimbo Slice is no Jersey Joe Walcott. Kimbo Slice is no James J. Braddock. Kimbo Slice is Kimbo Slice. He's in a league of his own. And even if you could say it's a league, I don't think he'll get past higher sea level. I don't think he'll get past higher sea level, but I could possibly see them putting him on a high level pedestal just because of his name, just because of mixed martial arts and YouTube. I think I think that would possibly happen. But I don't think that. I just honestly don't care what they do with this guy. And I'm not saying it because of his mixed martial arts past, but I honestly don't care what they do with him just as long as they don't put him in the ring with a Klitschko so we can get decapitated. Um, like I said, I just think that boxing was better suited for him years ago, but not as much now because he doesn't have too many years left. Being 37 years old, despite the fact that we have fighters who are, who primarily fought their whole entire lives in boxing, or missed certain years and is completely dedicated to the sport. Kimbo Slice is not dedicated to the sport. I think really he's just a guy who is from the streets, um, grew up in poverty, was homeless, and is making sure he doesn't go back to that. So I think boxing is going to be his outlet now because he primarily failed in mixed martial arts. But since everything is, I think what Gary Shaw's going to do, I think he's going to put together a bunch of little exhibition fights or small fights, maybe 4 rounders, because from what I know, his stamina is shit. I think he's gonna put him in some 4 rounders because I don't think he's gonna be in any contention after 6 fights. Because you know, um, if he's in any contention, then the rounds get much higher. Like you go from 4 rounders to 8 rounders, 8 rounders to 10 rounders, and then when you're ready for title eliminators, those when you get to the 12 rounders. And Kimbo Slice is gonna have to fight a hell of a lot or beat some very good opponents if he wants to hit contention. And he has to show that he can fight 12 round fights, in which he probably can't. So anyway, I'm just giving my opinion on that. Kimbo Slice and boxing. Tell me guys, what do you think? So anyway guys, that was the distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.